Welcome to Football Forecast Weekly, the most popular football program in America, featuring Dennis Tobler and Fred Wallen.
Welcome, everyone, to Football Forecast Weekly, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you football players out there, you punters, you gamblers, everyone involved. It's our weekend. Not only do we have a full slate of football games, we have the college rivalry matchup weekends. We've got college basketball tournaments. The NBA's going, the NHL's going. I don't know what else could be going, especially here in Las Vegas, because we get all of them. I want to first of all welcome to the show the Hall of Fame Sports Radio host and broadcaster, Mr. Fred Wallen. Fred, thank you for coming on the show again. I must say your insights have been tremendous this year.
Well, yeah, we had a pretty good week last week. We had some great college football very quickly. I mean, you had two last-second games, the Michigan game, the TCU game. You had Tennessee knocking itself out of any really championship ideas that it might have had. And now you've got Michigan and Ohio State. Buckeyes a big 8.5-point favorite. So there's plenty to talk about right now on this fine program.
That's for sure. Well, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and because of our distribution, we need to get to the Thanksgiving games first. So let's get to it and roll them off here. Some winners for our audience. First of all, the Buffalo Bills are on the road to take on the Detroit Lions. Buffalo's a 9.5-point favorite. We've talked enough about these two teams. What's your pick?
Lions have won 3 in a row. Would there be a bigger shock on earth than that? They've won 3 in a row. Obviously, nobody could have expected that. It's unbelievable. 9.5 is a big number. I'm still taking Buffalo.
I'm not sure on this game either. It seems like Detroit's playing well and they have the ability to score. Buffalo seems to screw up now and then. I think 9.5 is too much on the road. I'm going to take Detroit. I have been hung up taking Detroit for 50 years on Thanksgiving Day. Okay. And in the old days, they used to win them all. But recently, it's been kind of a shallow win process. So I'm going to take Detroit and hope it comes back to the past. The next game, the midday game, is the New York Giants on the road to take the Red Hot Cowboys on. Dallas is a 9-point favorite in this one. How do you see it?
You know, I think the biggest problem with the Cowboys right now is how to satisfy both running backs. There's no question right now that Pollard is a better running back than you know who. Okay, Elliott was a fine running back, but he's lost a step. Pollard has that extra step and another extra step and another extra step. So what does the coaching staff do? Maybe you play both of them. Remember in Brian's song when for a little bit of the time you had both guys playing in the same backfield? Maybe you do that more often with the Cowboys. Anyways, I like the Cowboys. Giants came back to earth last week. I'm going with Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas looks awful strong, and it upset the contest with them blowing out Green Bay, or whoever it was they blew out. Who was it? I can't remember.
40-3, the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota kind of came back down to earth from their 8-1 start. I think Dallas is one of the best teams in the league right now, even with Dak. Elliott ran the ball a few times, scored a touchdown, I think, or something. So they are using them both. It's probably the coaching. If he can get their hands around the egos of those Cowboys, maybe the Cowboys can make it somewhere this year. Well, okay, the final game of the day. Thanks. Oh, go ahead, Fred.
No, I'm just going to say what happened was Pollard runs the ball down to the 5 and to the 3, and then he gives it to Elliott from the 1 or the 2 or the 3. And that's how he scored the 2 touchdowns. And that maybe satisfies Elliott. But in the long run, if you want to win, you got to give the ball to Pollard more often.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the next matchup, the New England Patriots are on the road to play those red-hot Vikings that fell on their nose last week. And the Patriots, good team, road team. The Vikings are only 3.5 home favorites here.
I thought the number would be a little bit higher. Although, again, if we talk coming down to earth, obviously you lose 40-3. That's definitely coming down to earth or lower than that. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I'm going with Belichick and thinking that their defense right now is going awfully well. And again, the defense of Minnesota, if you take a look, even before the 40-3 loss, you can talk about numbers. They gave up a lot of yardage. And finally, it came back to haunt them. Now, again, the Patriots do not have the greatest offense on earth, but they have enough to score here. I see like a 20-24-16 win for the Patriots straight up over Minnesota.
Good advice. Money line Patriots bet. I'm going to do the same thing. The total drop from 44 to 42. I believe it'll be a low scoring game. The Patriots are going to hold them down. You're right about the Vikings. They've gotten lucky several times this year, being far behind and coming back and winning. So they give up the points. But New England's too well coached. And I'm going to take the points here. And I agree with you. Take the money line and under the last game on Thanksgiving Day. Now, before we go to the break, I want to remind all of you that we have playfortickets.com. Playfortickets.com is where you go each week to the website, pick 7 games, side and total. If you win, you get a chance to go to the 2023 Super Bowl in Glendale, Arizona, with $50,000 in your pocket. So don't forget to take the time to enter each and every week. Go to playfortickets.com, sign up, and make sure you put your entries in. I hate to say this now, but my wife's on top of all of the people in the standings that I know that I can see there. But she should be, because she's been married to me for 36 years. She knows more about football than 9/10 of the people that bet it. So anyway, go to playfortickets.com and get your picks in every week. Going to the Super Bowl in Glendale will be a kick, and we'll see you there. Fred and I will be there some way. Okay? So it's playfortickets.com, playfortickets.com. I repeat it for all you audio podcast listeners. Get online and get on this contest. It's not only a lot of fun, but you can also test your skills against us on the show and the other people that you listen to in your football world. So before we go to the first break, write it down, playfortickets.com. We'll be back in a minute with more NFL football with Fred Wallen.
Now place your bets. This groundbreaking film details the dramatic rise of legal sports betting in Las Vegas and its growth into a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. Through in-depth interviews, personal accounts, and vintage footage, we highlight the key elements and milestones that shaped the sports betting industry into what it is today. This history also dovetails with the changing fortunes of Las Vegas as a gambling town at turns overseen by the elements of organized crime, corporate interests, and the U.S. government. Featured prominently in the film are pioneer odds makers and historians who witnessed these events. Today, betting on sports is a popular pastime and a lifestyle choice for many Americans. Its appeal incorporates the innate drive for competition and the rewards of winning. Watch Now Place Your Bets on Amazon Prime and NowPlaceYourBets.com.
Hi, JJ's back because this is important. Do you know if your Medicare Advantage plan benefits are changing this year? Are your costs and copays going up? Is your doctor still covered? During the annual enrollment period, you can call to find out all the changes to your coverage. Plus, see if you're eligible for a plan with the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
I called to find a plan with lower copays and more dental coverage.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to make sure my doctors are still in my plan.
Extra benefits, extra money. Dynamite! AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-249-1374. That's 1-800-249-1374 now.
If you or a loved one developed ovarian cancer after using baby powder or talcum powder products, call now to see if you qualify for financial compensation. A major manufacturer of baby and talcum powder products has been found liable for $4.7 billion in damages because they knowingly sold products containing cancer-causing asbestos. There may be time deadlines, so don't wait. It costs you nothing if you don't win.
Call 800-315-5712.
Hi, folks. It's the Medicare annual enrollment period, and this year it's simple. 1, before the deadline, call the number below. 2, check your zip code for a Medicare Advantage plan with prescriptions, dental care, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. 3, you'll find out what you're eligible for. AEP has a deadline. Call now.
I called to find a plan that covers more of my dental expenses.
I call every year to make sure my doctor is still in my plan.
I called to find a plan with lower copays.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I call every year.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Get what you deserve. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-490-6545. That's 1-800-490-6545 now.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology for just $297. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $297. Plus, we'll add a portable charging case and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $297 and free shipping.
800-854-2762. Again, that's 800-854-2762.
Welcome back, everyone, to Football Forecast Weekly. Dennis Tobler here with Fred Wallen. We're reviewing this weekend's NFL games. As we said before, there's a lot of sports on the card this week, so pay attention to the football because it will be the hardest one to win at. Okay, Fred, if you're still with me there, I've got the Baltimore Ravens on the road, -4 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. How do you see that one?
Well, the Jags are very well coached. That's point A. Point B, injuries as far as the Ravens are concerned. You have to worry about Lamar Jackson. You have to worry about Mark Andrews. So at this point in time, it's a very, very tough game to call because it would seem the Ravens could cover a 4-point spread, but Peterson is such a good coach, and any kind of injuries to Jackson would change the whole circumstance totally. So Fred's going to have to pass on this one because Fred's unsure about the injuries, and we'll see how that works out.
Well, I heard Jackson talking this week, and of course, we're way early in the week when we do these shows. He says, I'm going to play no matter what. So he's playing for a contract. He probably will play. A matter of fact, all these quarterbacks who come up questionable, I figure they're going to play come the next Sunday. I figure he's going to play here, and I think the Ravens are going to kill Jacksonville. Here, this week, we're probably spot on. We're opposite on the teams we're picking. Last week, we were together. This week we're opposite. I'm taking Baltimore here. I think they'll run over them no matter who plays quarterback. I haven't seen Jacksonville be able to put points on the board, and that's going to be a must if they're going to be in this game. I'm going to lay the 4 points here. The next matchup is the tremendous Denver Broncos. And this is even more surprising. They're a 2-point road favorite at the Carolina Panthers. I'll take this one first. You can finish it up. The Broncos suck. The coaches suck. Russell Wilson has lost it. That's it. I mean, he had open receivers all day long against the Raiders and could not hit them. And when you lose to the Raiders at home, you're at the bottom of the pack, okay? So Denver being 2-point favorites on the road's a joke. Take Carolina on the money line and take it all the way to the bank.
Let's go back to last week against the Raiders. Let's go back to last week. First quarter. The Raiders had the ball like on their own 30-yard line. He goes back to pass, and he's sacked for a 7-yard loss. So now you have 2nd and 17, except there was also a holding penalty against the Raiders. Now, let me ask you something, Dennis. You're the coach of the Broncos, Nate Hackett. You're going to go first and 20 or second and 17. Everybody on earth except Nate Hackett is going to go second and 17. He goes first and 20. Please explain.
I have no explanation for Hackett. I have no explanation for why the Walton family put him in place the way they did. You got to remember there's new ownership in Denver that doesn't know anything about football. Okay, so they're relying on John Elway type remnants to get the answers, and he never had the answers. Denver is now at the lowest point I've seen him since I was in high school. I used to go to the Denver games when I was in high school, sat in the north stands, and we'd take the Letterman's Club or the football team to the Denver Broncos game. We sit in the north stands, and there'd absolutely be nobody in those north stands but us. And we'd watch the Raiders come in and beat the Broncos 55-0 and stuff like that, year in and year out. And then the Broncos got good. And then they got better. And then they got Elway, and they went to some Super Bowls. Then they won some Super Bowls. And then all of a sudden, as Elway retired and as they tried to turn their team into a money-making opportunity instead of a football team, they're in a mess. And I'm taking Carolina. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. Just based on the fact Nate Hackett. I'm betting against Nate Hackett.
That's a smart. That's what I think too.
You can't make a mistake. You can't make a decision like that. That's something that a junior high school coach would know better.
And he's constantly, you got to wonder about some of these plays. They have to be coming from the bench too. And when they got Russell out there on a wing, and why can't Russell hit somebody down the field 25 yards anymore? I seen him miss throws by 5 yards or more while he was rolling out in that game. And I think he's gained weight. I don't think he's as fast as he is. I think his life has changed so much now. He has a wife, kids, and that's his life, not 100% football. Now, we'll have to wait and see on that, but that's my call right now.
Let me add a couple things. Nate Hackett at the press conference basically blamed Russell Wilson. Even if it was Wilson's fault, you don't do that in that circumstance. You want to talk to Wilson quietly, fine. You want to talk to him in the clubhouse, locker room, fine. You don't attack your quarterback. That's going to cause even more problems. Secondly, they dropped Melvin Gordon. Now, at Wisconsin, I saw him gain 400-something yards on the ground in one game. Melvin Gordon is still a good running back. He dropped the ball, didn't cost him the game. Had nothing to do with costing him the game. They dropped him. You know, and I know. As soon as a coach starts getting rid of players and assistant coaches, you know what he's thinking. He's trying to save his own life. Nate Hackett does not deserve this job. From that perspective, I'm also hoping the Panthers win. Let's push the Walton's hand here, and let's see if he can make it through the year. He's definitely one and done. Will he make it through the year? I don't know. But as you said, this is right now a horrendous team.
Yeah, they will not. He will not make it through the year as a coach. Okay, let's get one more game in here before our break. This is an easy one. It's the Atlanta Falcons on the road to take on the Washington Commanders. The Commanders opened at 3, went to 4. Me and you tagged, or you and I should say, tagged the Commanders last week perfectly. We knew that Riverboat Ron Rivera has that team on a roll. They believe in themselves now. They don't have Wentz to stop them, so I think they're playing so good they're going to win and cover this week too.
I can't disagree. Heineke has proven that Old Dominion quarterbacks can play in the National Football League. They are totally behind their coach in Rivera. And I remember way back when he was a linebacker at Cal. I remember his career with Carolina. He's a good coach, and they will win easily here. They've won 5 out of 6. I mean, come on.
They're better.
They're an improved club. They're liable to win 9 games this year. They might even make the playoffs. Who would have bet on that?
Nobody, and they are playing very well. They believe in themselves. It's a team game. You have to believe in yourself in a team game. Okay, we've run to the end of the second segment now, so we'll be back after a few messages here, and we'll cover the rest of the card for you. Welcome back to Football Forecast Weekly, everyone. I'm here with Fred Wallen, and we're analyzing this weekend's NFL games. We're down to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road to play the Cleveland Browns. The Bucs are 3.5-point favorites in this matchup, a low total of 42. Fred Wallen, how do you see it?
Giselle is dating somebody else. So Brady's got heavy thoughts. However, they had the week off. They've won 2 in a row. I'm going with the Buccaneers.
I agree with you. I think his thoughts, I think Rodgers' thoughts, and I think Russell Wilson's thoughts are all in different directions than football. And I 100% agree with you about Brady. He must be crying in his beer. Yeah, I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this one too. It's easy. I don't think Cleveland can score. The next matchup we have is the Cincinnati Bengals on the road to play the Titans. This is one of the tighter matchups this week. The Bengals are 1-point favorites here. What do you see in this game, Fred?
Burrow has found the magic, 37 points last week. Again, the Titans very well coached. You can make the case of one of the best coaches in the National Football League. You got Henry on the other side. You got Burrow on the Bengals side. I see a high-scoring game. And so I'll slightly lean toward the Bengals, but I definitely going over here because the Bengals do not have a great defense. But Burrow, even though Tennessee does have a good defense, I think Burrow will score enough points to get us over the 43 or 44 point. What is it? What do you have at this exact?
I have it at 42.5. I haven't seen it move. And I agree. That's such a low total. It wouldn't surprise me if Cincinnati goes close to 42 in this one. Look, Tennessee's a good team, but they have to run the ball to get somewhere. And Tannehill always screws it up at the very end, some way, shape, or form. Well, I think Cincinnati's one of the best teams in the league now. I think Burrow's got his handle back. Their defense can stop Tennessee. I'm going to take Cincinnati, but I love this game over too. That might be our play of the week, the over in the Titans-Bengals matchup. Okay, let's quickly squeeze in the Houston Texans at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins went from 10 to 13-point favorites.
Well, you know my rule, never give more than 10. However, maybe in the last 10 years, I've done that 3 or 4 times. This might be one of the weeks I have to do it. So my point is you've got Miami. They have not lost a game since Tua has come back. They're not losing here. You can make the case that David Mills and the Texans may be the worst team in the National Football League. I think Miami will win by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I agree. I think the 13's not enough, but when a line goes from 10 to 13, you better pay attention to all the money that's come in on that line. There's a lot more there than what's showing. I'm taking Miami too, minus the 13. And most of these games, when we have double-digit favorites, we try to lay off of them, but sometimes this is a 40-10 blowout. So let's lay the points and take the Dolphins. We'll be right back with more Football Forecast Weekly in just a few minutes.
Now place your bets. This groundbreaking film details the dramatic rise of legal sports betting in Las Vegas and its growth into a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. Through in-depth interviews, personal accounts, and vintage footage, we highlight the key elements and milestones that shaped the sports betting industry into what it is today. This history also dovetails with the changing fortunes of Las Vegas as a gambling town at turns overseen by the elements of organized crime, corporate interests, and the U.S. government. Featured prominently in the film are pioneer odds makers and historians who witnessed these events. Today, betting on sports is a popular pastime and a lifestyle choice for many Americans. Its appeal incorporates the innate drive for competition and the rewards of winning. Watch Now Place Your Bets on Amazon Prime and NowPlaceYourBets.com.
Hi, JJ's back because this is important. Do you know if your Medicare Advantage plan benefits are changing this year? Are your costs and copays going up? Is your doctor still covered? During the annual enrollment period, you can call to find out all the changes to your coverage. Plus, see if you're eligible for a plan with the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
I called to find a plan with lower copays and more dental coverage.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to make sure my doctors are still in my plan.
extra benefits, extra money. Dynamite! AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-249-1374. That's 1-800-249-1374 now.
If you or a loved one developed ovarian cancer after using baby powder or talcum powder products, call now to see if you qualify for financial compensation. A major manufacturer of baby and talcum powder products has been found liable for $4.7 billion in damages because they knowingly sold products containing cancer-causing asbestos. There may be time deadlines, so don't wait. It costs you nothing if you don't win.
Call 800-315-5712.
Hi, folks. It's the Medicare annual enrollment period, and this year it's simple. 1, before the deadline, call the number below. 2, check your zip code for a Medicare Advantage plan with prescriptions, dental care, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. 3, you'll find out what you're eligible for. AEP has a deadline. Call now.
I called to find a plan that covers more of my dental expenses.
I call every year to make sure my doctor is still in my plan.
I called to find a plan with lower copays.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I call every year.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Get what you deserve. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-490-6545. That's 1-800-490-6545 now.
Do you listen to the TV on high volume or have trouble hearing conversations? Then you would benefit from hearing aids. Don't waste thousands on expensive hearing aids when you can get Nano's revolutionary technology for just $297. Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. With rechargeable technology many customers say is superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one, but 2 Nano hearing aids for just $297. Plus, we'll add a portable charging case and ship your order absolutely free. The CIC Recharge has a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Why keep missing out on important conversations or waste thousands of dollars? Call and get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids for only $297 and free shipping.
800-854-2762. Again, that's 800-854-2762.
Welcome back to Football Forecast, the meat of the show, everyone. And Fred Wallen's with me. We're going to take a look at the rest of the football schedule from this weekend. The Bears are on the road to take on the New York Jets. It seems like all the quarterbacks are hurt, and who knows what quarterbacks are going to play. Nonetheless, the Jets went from 3.5 to 4.5 home point favorites in this one. Total is 39. So evidently quarterbacks are hurt. What do you see in this one, Fred?
Well, yeah, you just mentioned quarterbacks are hurt. The key, as far as the total, would be Fields. If he's healthy, the Bears are going to score 20, 25 points by themselves. If he's not, it's a totally different circumstance. It's not a strong lean. However, I think I'll take the Jets and see what happens at home. Did not play well last week at all. So we'll go with the New Yorkers and a slight lean against Chicago Bears, assuming that even if he plays, Fields will not be 100%.
Yeah, I don't think Fields is going to play, or the total wouldn't have dropped from 46 to 39. I did see something about it when I was trying to do some research where they weren't sure whether he'll be back for the year.
Yeah.
So he is definitely questionable and probably will not play. Therefore, I'm taking the Jets and laying the points also in this matchup. Okay, now we get to a real fun game. The Las Vegas Raiders on the road again after their big win last week, taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, solid 3.5 point favorite. They've laid there at 3.5 for a week.
Dennis, you know that I play fantasy. This week, I've got Geno Smith in almost every one of my teams. So what does that tell you? My opinion of this game just might be. I think the Raiders were very fortunate to play against Nate Hackett last week. McDaniel is still McDaniel. Geno Smith is the comeback player of the year. They've got the wide receivers. I think they'll score as many points as they need to all by themselves. they'll win by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Well, the Raiders, I have to tell you, they thought they won the Super Bowl after winning on the road against Denver last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their clubhouse now is like, whoa, we're really good. Well, I got news for him. I agree with you. I think your move on Geno in your fantasy is probably a smart move because he'll probably put up a lot of points this week. Look, the Raiders barely have a chance to come home and take a breath. And then they're on the road over Thanksgiving weekend here. I think it's just too much to ask for them to win 2 games in a row or even cover 2 games in a row. So I'm going to take Seattle here too. I do think this will be an easy win for Seattle. On to one of your favorites, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Arizona Cardinals coming back from Mexico City. The Chargers were only 2.5-point favorites last week. This week, they're 4.5-point road favorites against Arizona. It looks like the Arizona's second-team quarterback's just not going to cut it.
I actually thought Colt McCoy played pretty well, actually. I don't think it was his fault that they lost. Murray, again, as you indicated, probably out in this one. Chargers lose in the last few seconds, as you knew they would, to the Kansas City Chiefs. Herbert, though, has found his way. Allen came back last week for the Los Angeles Chargers. And so I think they'll score. They have found enough wide receivers to make a big difference here. So I think the Chargers will beat the Cardinals. Cardinals in trouble. And Cardinals, of course, 2 weeks ago beat the Rams, but then the Rams right now are horrible. So let's not take that too much to heart. So I'm taking the Chargers on the road to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't think the Arizona team's quite what it can be without Kyler Murray. And the Chargers are playing better. They got to be pissed off from losing last week. And I do think that the quarterback is one of the best in the league. I think the Chargers laying 4 on the road here is just a gimme. The Arizona played, they might, I don't think they played that well. And I thought Case Keenum, or is that the quarterback? Case Keenum?
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Yeah. Okay. I get him mixed up from Texas there. Anyway, Colt McCoy, he did play well at the quick in the first half, throwing the ball out quick, getting the ball out quick. Second half, it wasn't quite so much, and they couldn't move it, and they couldn't score. Needed more scoring there. I don't think they'll score much against the Chargers even. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. Okay, the next one, another LA team right in your backyard. You can give us all the information we need. This will be a great one for you here. The Los Angeles Rams at the Kansas City Chiefs. Last week's line was 11. This week's line is 14.5. Kansas City is favored by 14.5 over the Super Bowl champions in Kansas City this week.
Miss Lily of AT&T is very disappointed in Stafford and the Rams so far. Stafford's not going to play. At the press conference, media conference, I think it's obvious he's not going to play. Second time in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, he had the concussion problem. So he's not going to play. I don't even know if that matters. I really don't. I got a hunch that Mahomes will be out of this game late in the third quarter with a 5-touchdown advantage over the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm a Ram fan, but they stink. They're horrible. They were very fortunate last year. McVay, it's gone to his head, and they made bad decisions last year, and they were able to overcome those decisions. This year, they have not. The loss of Von Miller has cost them horrendously in the defensive side of things. So you got to take Kansas City. And again, the way Mahomes is playing, the comeback last Sunday against the Chargers, you can't play much better than Mahomes is playing right now, and that's even with the change as far as the wide receivers are concerned. So Kansas City, easy over the Los Angeles Rams. And again, you got to give more than 2 touchdowns, but you might go with the over because Kansas City might score 50 by themselves.
Well, that's one opinion. My opinion is that Kansas City can't beat anybody by 14.5. I mean, Mahomes made a great comeback last week. But why did they have to make a great comeback? Because Andy Reid don't know what the hell he's doing at any point in the game. There's no way. that they're going to cover the points. 14.5 points, the Rams defense can keep them shut down to that level. And Mahomes, he only does it when he has to do it. You know what makes people like Andy Reid look good as a coach? Mahomes. And who was his quarterback when he coached in Philadelphia? That's who made Andy Reid look good. It wasn't Andy Reid doing anything. I'm taking the Rams here. I'll stink it out if I have to. Plus 14.5 on the Chiefs. I'll take every day of the week. Okay, I'm going to let you have first crack at the Saints at the San Francisco 49ers. We finally get to the California teams. The 49ers look to me like one of the strongest in the league.
You could make the case right now they're the best team in the league. McCaffrey didn't score a touchdown, and they didn't need him to score a touchdown last week. You got Aliuk and Samuel catching those passes, and something people do not seem to get. They were going to get rid of Jimmy G. He's playing. You can't play any better than he's playing. 4 touchdown passes. So 49ers will beat the Saints here very easily.
Yes, they will beat them very easily. I don't know if I mentioned the point spread's 9, but that's not near enough. San Francisco has a great defense. I think they have a great defense. On offense, for the life of me, I had no idea why they wanted to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo last year. And then again, secondarily, he deserves a lot of credit for not being pissed off. They wanted to trade him and bench him and play some rookie from Missouri or somewhere. You know, if I was him, I'd been a little upset about that. But no, he comes back this year. He makes up the difference for it. And he has played absolutely phenomenal. I think the whole team is in mesh. Offense, defense, so special teams. I just think they're very good. And I'm going to take the 49ers to cover the 9 too.
I got to ask you this, and folks, you decide this yourself. If they go on to do well in the playoffs, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, who knows, but they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win probably a game or 2 in the playoffs. Next year, does management go back to Trey Lance, or does management stay with Jimmy G? I think his teammates would say at this point, you got to stay with Jimmy G. That makes management look bad. And when management looks bad, they don't like it. So it's going to be interesting.
They can ruin your team in a quick hurry if they don't like it. So I agree with you. I don't know who would want to play for Trey Lance after Jimmy Garoppolo has done what he's done, kept his mouth shut, played first-rate football, and he's carrying the 49ers on. They could get to the Super Bowl for sure. Okay, let's take a look at this one last game on the board. And this week I have it right. It's the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles for the Sunday night matchup. The Eagles are 7-point home favorites in this matchup. What do you think? We have no idea about weather, but it's a long ways off.
Well, yeah, but on the other side of it, they were very lucky, the Eagles were, to win last week. It took a last-second run by Hurts, of course, to win the game 17-16. I think they learned their lesson. They almost lost 2 in a row. I think they'll win big here. And you got Aaron Rodgers blaming others, although he did take some of the blame for the loss in last Sunday. But anyways, I think the Eagles will cover the spread. And I thought it'd be a little higher than 7, to tell you the truth. I think it's not higher than 7 because Rodgers, there's people are still saying he'll find his way. He'll find his way. I think he's lost his way. I think the Eagles will cover the spread.
I 100% agree with you. I think the Eagles are about due for a good one. They seem to be playing overconfident is what they seem to be playing, like they can just win it at any time they want to, you know. In this matchup, though, I agree with you. Green Bay looks pretty sad. On the road, they could be even worse. Philadelphia needs to put something together, and they probably will. Once again, I'm agreeing with you. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles and lay the 7 points on the Sunday night matchup this week. I think the Packers are done. When it comes time for the playoffs, I mean, so many teams get into the playoffs, but there are only going to be 4 or 5 teams that are the top of the league. Why don't you run down for me, Fred, you know, what you think are the top 3 or 4 NFL teams right now as we head into the final month of the season?
Well, right now, Tua's never lost when he's played this year for the Dolphins, so they got to be in there. The Chiefs, I know you don't like Andy Reid, but they have Mahomes. That's going to overcome anybody's errors, so they're going to be right there.
I agree with that.
I think the 49ers, their offense is with the addition of McCaffrey. I don't know how if you're playing defense against them, I don't know how you stop them. There's just too many guys. They can catch the ball and run with the ball. And again, McCaffrey doesn't score a touchdown, and it didn't matter. You got Ayuk and Samuel taking care of that. So the 49ers, and I'm going back to Buffalo. Okay, so they've had a couple of slip-ups, but Allen is still a tremendous, tremendous quarterback. Maybe he takes too many chances. That's why the interceptions have come. I don't think they'll come in the playoffs. So I would say Buffalo, Miami, the 49ers, and Kansas City are probably my top four.
I tend to agree with that. I'm sure there'll be other people that want to throw Dallas in because they always want to throw Dallas into the mix. But we'll have to see how they play throughout the rest of the season before I give Dallas any kind of top-rated position. They played a couple good games, okay, but they played some really bad ones too. So I agree with you, and thank you very much for all the input and information. We'll be right back after this message with our Monday night matchup. Listen up, football fans. For this week's best bets, call us at 1-888-604-6863. That's 1-888-604-6863. Be a winner. 888-604-6863.
Do you have trouble hearing conversations? Are you constantly asking loved ones to repeat themselves? Do you miss out on discussions or talking with friends? Then you would benefit from Nano hearing aids. Don't waste thousands of dollars on expensive hearing aids or settle with the frustration of cheap amplifiers. Right now, you can get 2 revolutionary Nano CIC Recharge hearing aids, regularly $794 for just $297, or opt into our payment plan of 4 easy payments.
I love how affordable the Nano hearing aids are. Compared to some hearing aids, they're as much as $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
Don't be fooled by higher-priced hearing aids. The CIC Recharge is a true hearing aid, not an amplifier. It has rechargeable technology that many customers say is superior to more expensive models.
Well, these Nano hearing aids are fantastic. They're affordable, they're easy to fit into the ear, and what really impressed me is I'm hearing things I haven't heard in years.
Our friendly operators are standing by to take your order.
800-835-5129.
The CIC Recharge offers superior noise reduction and a tiny in-the-ear canal design that is nearly invisible. Best of all, they are incredibly affordable. And if you call now, we'll add a portable charging case and ship your order absolutely free.
I love how they feel. They're very light. I don't even know they're there.
You know, I've used other hearing aids before that were bulky. These are light and easy to use too.
Stop missing out on important conversations or wasting thousands of dollars on expensive hearing aids. Order now and you'll get 2 CIC Recharge hearing aids and a portable charging case for just $297. Or opt into our easy payment plan, and your order ships free. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. Better hearing is just a phone call away.
800-835-5129. Again, that's 800-835-5129.
Hi, folks. It's the Medicare annual enrollment period, and this year it's simple. 1, before the deadline, call the number below. 2, check your zip code for a Medicare Advantage plan with prescriptions, dental care, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. 3, you'll find out what you're eligible for. AEP has a deadline. Call now.
I called to find a plan that covers more of my dental expenses.
I call every year to make sure my doctor is still in my plan.
I called to find a plan with lower copays.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I call every year.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Get what you deserve. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-490-6545. That's 1-800-490-6545 now.
Hi, JJ's back because this is important. Do you know if your Medicare Advantage plan benefits are changing this year? Are your costs and copays going up? Is your doctor still covered? During the annual enrollment period, you can call to find out all the changes to your coverage. Plus, see if you're eligible for a plan with the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
I called to find a plan with lower copays and more dental coverage.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to make sure my doctors are still in my plan.
Extra benefits, extra money. Dynamite! AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-249-1374. That's 1-800-249-1374 now.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to take a look at the Monday night game now. This week's Monday night matchup is the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road to play the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts were 3-point favorites. They went down to 2.5. Have no idea why that happened, and I think it's a wrong move. But Monday night's a big night for everybody. So the total here is 39. The Colts minus 2.5 and 39, Fred?
I don't think a lot of points will be scored in this game. I really don't. Jeff Saturday is no longer undefeated as a coach, although it took the last second score by Hurts to beat him for the Eagles last week. The Steelers were actually up on Cincinnati at halftime, but Pickett is Pickett. I'm going with a slight lean toward the Colts, and I'm going under the 39.5 in this circumstance. So under, and the Colts with a slight lean.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Colts in this matchup. I think Pittsburgh's overrated. They got lucky last week. Still, they ended up getting blown out. The rookie quarterback, they're going to have him figured out on the defensive side of the ball pretty soon. And I think that makes a big difference here. I'm going to take the Colts, and I'm going to play them strong. The total escapes me because the under looks like the obvious thing, because I don't think Pittsburgh will score much in this matchup. And the Colts might put some points on the board. They should be able to pass the ball. I'm going to take the Colts and lay the 2.5 points. I want to wish everybody good luck on the football schedule this weekend. And before we leave, Fred, one more time, a rundown about the top college 4 teams headed for the playoffs and what may happen.
Well, Tennessee knocked itself out. USC put itself in with a 3-point victory over UCLA. Caleb Williams played about as well as you can possibly play. Bruins were up 14-0 in that game. If Michigan plays well, even if they lose to Ohio State, I think they might get the 4th slot and face Georgia in the first round. So USC could be 4th or 5th. If they beat Notre Dame, they're a 5-point favorite. They have to look good. I mean, are they going to look good? I mean, Notre Dame is playing well now. Can they beat them by 5? Who knows? It's going to be close. And again, will there be a slight letdown for USC after getting sky high for UCLA? So bottom line is Georgia is a lock. Ohio State's going to beat Michigan. And who knows after that?
I agree with you on that. I'm still hoping that USC gets there because I'm laying on a 200-1 ticket. Okay. So, and they only have to get there. So I need to get somewhere and bribe somebody for that one. So anyway, that's it for this week's show. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Don't forget to go to play4tickets.com. Enter your picks this week for a trip to the Super Bowl and $50,000. I'm Dennis Tobler with Fred Wallen. In the studio, Stunt Cat Productions is Alan Jett, doing a terrific job every week. And we want to wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving weekend. We'll see you next week.